Aiden Side's case. Was he guilty or was he wrongfully convicted? Imagine spending 20 years in prison for a crime people still debate about today. Well, that's what happened to Aiden Snide. After listening to the Serial podcast, I've come to one conclusion. There is not enough evidence for Aiden Snide to be convicted. Notice I didn't say he's definitely innocent. I said he can't be found guilty because there's not enough evidence. That matters. Let's start with the biggest piece of evidence, Jay Wiles. Jay admitted that he helped bury Hae Min Lee's body. He also testified that Aiden confessed for murdering her. But here's a big problem. Jay changed his story multiple times. Different interviews gave different timelines, different locations, and different details. Due to this and the changing events, how is that reliable in the court when you're going against a testimony? The second issue involves cell phone records, phone calls. At Aiden's original trial, the cell phone tower data near him at Leakin Park years later pointed out that incoming calls were never intended to actually determine a location. In fact, cover sheet sent with phone records specifically warned investigators not to use incoming calls for location purposes. That raises serious questions about one of the state's strongest piece of evidence. Now, the prosecution argued that Aiden killed Hae because she ended their relationship. While breakups can be very emotional, that's not enough evidence that Aiden had threatened Hae or acted violently towards her to cause her death. Many teenagers experience breakups. It doesn't result to murder. A possible thing isn't proof. There are arguments towards him pointing guilty. Jay knew details about where Hae's car was located. Some people believe only someone that killed her could know that information. Others have argued that Aiden couldn't clearly remember where he was that afternoon after Hae disappeared. Those things raise suspicion. Suspicion alone is not a crime. You cannot get convicted for suspicion alone. You can think someone is guilty. That does not mean they are guilty. In Canada's justice system and the United States, the standard is guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. After looking at both sides of the story, I believe that standard was not met. There are too many questions. There are too many inconsistencies, and there is much uncertainty. Whether Aiden Snide is actually innocent, we may never know. But based on the evidence that is present to us today, I believe the jury had a reasonable doubt. And when reasonable doubt exists, a guilty should never be certain. Thank you for listening. What are your thoughts on Aiden Snide? Is he guilty or is he not?